Welcome to our webinar. This is Advisor Test Prep, Virus Markets, 5 Secret Exam Secrets you must know to pass your exam. Before we start, make sure that every viewer is registered. All you need to do to register is send us an email at coach@advisortestprep.com. Please like us on Facebook and let's connect on LinkedIn. This presentation is for educational purposes only. It's not intended as investment advice. The information, data, facts, and figures are taken from reliable sources, but are not guaranteed. Investing in the markets involves risk, including the loss of principal, and investors should seek professional advice before investing. Past performance is not an indication of future performance. Unlicensed persons affiliated with a broker-dealer or registered investment advisor should not discuss investments or make recommendations. Broker-dealers and registered investment advisors are responsible for their associated persons and can be sanctioned. We don't like talking heads, so I'll get rid of my camera. I'll be back soon. All the test centers are closed as I speak, but this is a perfect time to be studying and getting ready for your exam. Let's go through these 5 concepts so you have them nailed for your exam. The first thing I want to talk about is how epidemics affect global stocks. This chart attempts to show what's happened to markets after a particular epidemic starts. It starts back in June of 1981 with the HIV/AIDS crisis and goes through SARS and swine flu and ultimately Ebola and the measles crisis in June of 2019. Now, what you can learn from this chart is that these kind of epidemics do indeed affect the markets to one extent or another. However, it's not a given that the markets will stay down. Most of them do affect the markets in some way. And if you were to zoom in on particular market trends during that time, you could see more fluctuations than we're showing here. The other thing to notice is that over time, the markets do indeed go up, don't they? In other words, from 1970 till 2020, yes, the markets have increased. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average between January 30th of 2017 and March 31st, 2020. What do you notice? Yeah, they're very close, aren't they? Slightly higher, but very close. Yes, there have been some fluctuations. What will the recovery look like? What's coming next? Well, no one really knows, do they? It could be a U-shaped recovery where the recovery goes down a little bit and then goes back up, straight up. That could happen, right? No one knows. Could it be a V-shape where it goes essentially straight up from here? Yes, it could, but no one really knows. Or would it more likely be a W-shape where it bounces around in the lower realms for a while and goes straight up? Of course, it could keep going down, couldn't it? It sure could. So predictions are very, very difficult to make. In fact, it's been said that it is difficult to make predictions, especially about the future. That's a proverb attributed to a Danish proverb, Mark Twain, Yogi Berra, and many others. I caution you about making predictions about the future. Today, we're going to cover economic cycles, which you'll need to know, and how they affect the markets or how markets are affected by economic cycles. We're going to talk about systematic risk, monetary and fiscal policy, sector investing, and short selling. All of these things you are experiencing to one extent or another today. I don't want you to miss the lessons you're living through. Agents are required to understand market trends to serve customers' future investing needs. That's why you need to know economics, because what you want to do is you want to take customers' small money and turn it into big money. I'm looking for one of these machines. If you find it, will you please call me right away? I know you're not going to call me, right? So what is the trend and how can I make money with it? How can I save my customers money? How can I make my customers with it? Are trends always the same? No, they're not. But often the pattern repeats, so much so that the test can definitely at least categorize some of these trends. Economic cycles are measured in the change in gross domestic product. And again, they don't always follow this pattern, but we're going to talk about them. What is the gross domestic product? It is the total output of all goods and services in a nation's economy. Approximately 2/3 of the US economy is consumer spending. Yes, by customers. About 18% is government spending, 13% is investment aside from housing, and then we subtract net exports from that calculation, to be totally honest, and we go through these things in greater detail in each of our courses. Let's start with the expansion cycle. The gross domestic product increases month over month. The economy is said to be in an expansion cycle. When it goes flat, it may be at the peak. Could it go up from there? Yes. We only know as the trend continues. But if we reach a peak where the gross domestic product goes flat, it can be followed by a recession where the gross domestic product declines. And it continues to decline. Now, when do you enter a recession? What is the definition of a recession? Well, it is a decline in 6 consecutive months of the gross domestic product. Now, if the gross domestic product increases even one of those months, are you technically in a recession? No, you are not. If it continues, we could go into a depression. A depression is a decline in 6 consecutive quarters. That would be 18 months of decline in the gross domestic product. Then the gross domestic product may level off. It will go into a trough, we call that, and the gross domestic product once again goes flat. It can often be followed by a recovery where the gross domestic product increases month over month. This is a chart that you will need to know. This is being recorded, so you can go back and see this in greater detail. The point is that these patterns have over time followed one another. One never really knows what's going on. Now, you do know if we've gone into a recession or contraction where the gross domestic product has gone down, right? And a depression, of course, is a negative, a 10% loss in the gross domestic product over 8 quarters. Let's talk about risk. And the one that the test really wants you to know is systematic risk. It's when the entire market goes down, it generally cannot be avoided. If you are in the markets and the entire market goes down, guess what? Your portfolio is going to go down. Interestingly enough, we saw that happen already in these times in both the stock market and in the bond market. The systematic risk took the entire market down. Now, systematic risk is very much like a roller coaster. The only ones who get hurt jump off or fall off. That's right. These folks are having fun as they're going down. I don't know about that. I don't know if you're having fun and your portfolio is going down. But keep in mind, they are part of a system. And yes, the system will go up and the system will go down. Again, diversification does not keep you from the systematic risk if the entire market goes down. Let's talk about fiscal policy. How can the government control these economic cycles? Well, there's a couple of different things. First of all, the president and the Congress have the ability to tax and spend. What happens when they do each of these? Well, if you tax something, you'll get less of it, right? We know cigarette taxes, alcohol taxes, in theory, will lower the consumption of those products. Now, on the other side, if the taxes go down, you could get more of that, right? Yes. Now, spending, you'll get more of this. And consumer spending, for example, if you give people money to spend, they will spend more, absolutely, and the gross domestic product will increase. Well, if the government spends on projects, for example, during the Great Depression, the government spent on the Works Projects Administration, or WPA, built a lot of parks and public facilities, etc., and that put people back to work and, again, kept the economy going. So spending that the government does indeed add to the gross domestic product. Now, the Federal Reserve is on the other side of the policy issues. The Federal Reserve Board regulates the supply of money through what's called the money policy or monetary policy. You remember your basic economics from high school. the law of supply and demand. If there is a higher price, you will get a lower demand. If gas went to $20 a gallon, I'll bet you'd try to definitely drive less, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. So when the Federal Reserve Board sets the money rates, it's the rate at which banks can borrow from the member banks. It's the discount rate that banks can borrow from the Fed. A lower rate would expand the economy, cheaper money. People will borrow money if it's cheaper, right? Less risk. And the opposite is true. A higher rate would contract the economy and make money more expensive. And that the Fed would do that to cure or try to control runaway inflation. The Federal Open Market Committee meets to buy or sell Treasury debt to increase or decrease the money supply. We go into this in greater depth in each of our courses. Now, the other thing to understand is the risk in sector mutual funds. If you limit your investment to one segment or one sector of the economy, you increase your risk. This is an example of a technology fund. Yes, it has hardware and software in it and some other things as well, but it has limited its focus to one sector, and the fortunes in that sector are what the investor would get. Not a broad base, is it? No, we're focused. And so when you focus and you limit your geography or you limit your investing to a specific industry, you get what's going on in that industry. Right now, for example, energy is down. Hard to make a profit in the energy sector right now because the price in the sector has gone down. Conversely, biotechnology may be expanding as we try to get over this virus situation, new drugs, those kinds of things. Again, these are specific industries or limited geography. The objective, of course, and it is suitable, however, for long-term growth objective portfolios. The key for the test is the narrower the focus, the higher the risk. Let's talk about short selling or shorting. It is the act of selling. This is going on in the markets right now, and it can increase the volatility in the markets. You know, in a typical stock buying scenario, you would buy a share of stock. Let's say you bought this share of stock at $25 a share, and it goes to $50 a share, and you sell. This would be typical. You make $25 a share. Very, very simple. In shorting, you reverse reverse each of the steps. You still have a buy, you still have a sell, but you reverse them. So people can make money in the markets going down, and this is happening a lot right now today. Here's what would happen. You would borrow a share of stock you may not even own. You would borrow it from your broker and sell it at $50 a share. Now you're betting that the market's going to go down, and they can go down rather rapidly. I've shown this as a little bit of a hyperbole or an exaggerated example. So let's say that in a very short time, the stock does indeed go down, and you buy it at $25 a share. Well, then what you would do is you would return it to your broker, and the broker's even, and you made approximately $50 a share on a stock you did not even own. We've got some more test secrets available on our website at advisortestprep.com. That's advisor with an E, by the way. Click the free test secrets course in the upper right corner. Got another 14 minutes worth of test secrets and ways that you can beat your test. Go ahead and see those. They're there 24/7 for you. Why should you select Advisor Test Prep for your study? We've been doing this since 1998, and we take our content organically from the FINRA outlines, and we develop our courses to meet each and every one of the items on that outline. We miss nothing. We use advanced learning techniques. We've used some of those today. You haven't seen them happen, but we make content stick. We use practical real-life example, and we show you how it works. We are industry leaders. We are licensed in the industry, and we're current producers, so we keep up with things you get not just theory, you get practice. All of our courses are mobile device friendly, so you can watch your course on your smartphone, your iPad, laptop, or on your desktop, whatever works for you. We do have a secret ingredient, and that is humor. Hope you've seen a little bit of that today. Right now, we have an Easter sale for our online courses for the SIE, the Series 6, 63, and Series 65 and Series 66. We also have available textbooks, quiz bank access, and you can register for live online classes, and that's at advisortestprep.com. And now we are featuring the Advisor Test Prep Guarantee. It is an industry first. Before you test, you can have a free 1-hour online custom coaching session, a $100 value at no additional charge. You set the agenda. Some details apply, so see that our website for all of the details. Time to register. You can start your courses in just 10 minutes now at advisortestprep.com. Click the Shop tab. And if you have questions, we're going to be here on this webinar for just a few minutes. Type your question into the chat box or ask to be unmuted, and we will answer your questions. Or you can send your questions to our email offline, steve@advisortestprep.com, and we'll answer you back by email. Again, it's time to register, but wait, we have a special limited time offer. All of our packages for all the courses you need, our gold package, our silver package, and our bronze package are available now on our Easter sale. You can actually study now and pay later if you like. We'll send you an invoice in 30 days. Call or send us an email if you are not clear about what courses you need. Give us a call at 719-278-3883 or send us an email at register@advisortestprep.com.